Hello everyone, I'm FARMERSIM and welcome back to Court Farms Country Park, the Let's Play series and episode 36. So, as always, I hope you're all doing very well and having a nice day. So, the premium expansion that landed the day after our last episode, and in the comments, in a couple of the comments anyway, of the last episode, a few of you showed interest to see how I would graft in the expansion, as it were, and see if there's anything I could do with it on here. And through sheer happenstance, luck, whatever, there was no forward planning here whatsoever, on my part anyway. There very rarely is, to be honest, winging it most of the time. But yeah, as you all know from the end of the last episode, after our winter hibernation, coming back after that, selling all of our wares, we brought our bank balance up to a reasonably healthy £234,961, which is amazing. And that's now landed almost at bang on the correct time. So after sitting here for a few minutes and figuring out what I can do with that money, firstly, the best thing I can do right now, the first thing I'm going to do is to pay off the loan that I got a few episodes ago. The loan that allowed me to purchase the extension for the manure tank, the workshop, and a few other bits and bobs. I can't remember exactly what it was, but yeah, there was a 70 grand loan, I think it was. We've got about 44 grand left on that loan to pay off. So I think the sensible thing to do, keeping my sensible pants firmly tightened, would be to pay that loan off. But as I say, yeah, the expansion landed the next day. It looks quite interesting, as far as I'm concerned. It's obviously we've got a few new crops, 3 in total to consider. We've got red beet, parsnips and carrots, and a handful of bits of equipment in order to get working with those crops. So, looking at my relatively scruffy little notepad next to me here, the numbers that I've been playing with are, we have 44,614 quid to pay off on the loan. If I want to get any of the new crops into the ground, because again, coincidentally, now that we have the expansion pack running in the game, there at the very bottom you can see, come April next month, we can plant all 3 of the new vegetable crops. And as I mentioned in the last episode, we can also get our corn planted next month as well. So next month is going to be all about drilling and seeding and planting and getting stuff into the ground in one of our fields anyway. But that is still going to be my cornfield. But obviously I don't have another field yet to do anything with, do I? I still need to keep this as hay, and I still need to keep the grass field. Everything else is planted, so I don't want to be raising any ground in that respect and changing the plan of attack that I already have in existing fields. I feel the correct thing to do would be to have our own mini expansion again. Just another field, and I'm kind of staring right at it. The field that is down the hill a bit there, that doesn't look like it's got anything in it, but it does. That field is £124,943. It currently has a freshly planted, seeded crop of field beans in there, but I'm prepared to let that go. Essentially, there's a let's take a bit of a rundown and have a look at it, because it does need a bit of work. It seems to be only accessible through this field anyway, so it makes sense that we own it, because, as I say, the only way of getting there is around our field. So I'm going to have to be very careful when it comes to getting machinery down here. But it's full of stones, so they need picking out. So essentially it needs a whole wealth of prep doing. As you can see, it's got some quite big stones actually, which is fine. We can throw them into our stone crushing, lime producing machine. But essentially, yeah, I'm quite happy to fork out the money for this field, get rid of essentially just you know the score, just plough it under, cultivate it under, whatever I need to do, start again, raise the ground and get rid of the stones, and go from there. And essentially get this field work prepped in preparation for next month, when we can plant some of the new crops. But I can't plant any of the new crops until I have some machinery. So, yeah. Money-wise then, if I was to purchase the field, if I was to pay off the loan that we have now, then buy the field, I will be left with £65,403. To buy 2 of the 3 pieces of necessary kit to work with the new vegetables, the ridge maker and the planter, will come to £111,000. So that is going to give us a shortfall of 45,597 quid. So I'm going to need to get another loan. I'd rather do it in that order, personally. I don't want to extend the loan I've already got. I know whether it makes sense or not, you know, it's by the by. I'd like to pay off the loan that we currently have, settle that one, and then get another loan after that to keep us afloat, essentially. So yeah, I'd be short by 45,597 quid, but if I got a loan for that exact amount, I'd be left with absolutely nothing. So I'm thinking to get a loan for about 55, 60 grand again, in order to make all those purchases, get what we need. I won't be getting the harvester machine for the new vegetable crops yet, because obviously that's several months away. It would be unnecessary of me to fork out, because I think that's just shy of 60 grand, I think 59,000 something quid. So I'm hoping that by the time comes to harvest those crops, I should have, you know, time will have passed, stuff will have happened, money will have come in, and no doubt gone out again. But yeah, in order to be able to make the purchase for the harvester in the future, so that we can get the stuff out of the ground. So yeah, so essentially in this episode, what I need to do is get all those financial workings done and dusted, pay off the loan, buy the field, buy the 2 pieces of equipment that I'll need to get started with the new crops, get cracking in this field here. I did say in the last episode that this episode would probably take place at the beginning of April, but because of the premium expansion, because of the plan I've now got ahead of me, I think it would be a bit stupid of me to fast forward time from first thing in the morning on the 2nd of March and essentially waste a day's work, when I could put that to good use, crack on with the field prep in what will be our new field when we buy it, and yeah, get that done, get everything prepared, ready for next month when we get everything drilled. Now we still have a load of grass work to do. I need to get this grass mowed, tedded, turned to hay, baled up, as we do with the bigger field over there. I'm not in so much of a rush for that big one over there. I just need to get a few more hay bales into the shed, because we've still got a couple, but at the minute I've just thrown a couple into the sheep pen. As some of you may remember, my grazing area in the sheep pasture is the map says it's growing, but visually it's completely well, there's nothing there. So yeah, I've got 8 hay bales in here at the minute, so I could do with stocking that up. We've got plenty of silage in the shed and straw in here, so we're all right for feeding the cows for the near future anyway. Well, for the distant future as well, we've got plenty of the stuff, so I don't need to stress too much about that. But I do need to get the grass cut, because I could get that grass, because that's the bigger field. I could afford to mow the grass, and before baling it up and running it into silage, I could run wherever it's gone. Where's it gone? The pickup wagon thing. There it is. I could run a couple of trailer loads of this just to top up the sheep. Yeah, that's the plan. That wouldn't take a huge amount from it, but and that would also affect the bale count that I've been so carefully monitoring and looking forward to. So I suppose that is a negative about that, isn't it? If I take from the mowed grass and stick a couple of trail loads in here to feed the sheep, the bale count that I was hoping to well, keep up to like the 38 bale level that we've had from cut 1 and cut 2. So that could affect that. Well, it will affect that, won't it? But yeah, anyway. So that's the plan going forward, I feel. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to jump into the bank loan system menu. We are going to make a special redemption of £44,614. So let's do that. I don't need to click in there, don't I? £44,614. We're going to pay that off. Make special repayment. Done. Right. Remaining amount. 0. Done. I'm sure that's working. I'd have assumed it would have gone away, but remaining amount is 0. The monthly repayment is still there. If I go back into it. Well, I'm assuming I'm not going to have to make any more monthly payments from that, am I? Because I've got nothing to pay back, so... Oh, there it is. Yeah, paid off loans. Forgive me, I hadn't noticed that there. There's a heading there for current loans and then a paid off loan. So that's excellent. Right, so we paid off that loan. Now we want to jump into the map. We want to make the purchase for the new field, which is this one here at the bottom of there, to £124,943. We're going to buy that. Yep, done. Look at that now. It's a decent sized farm, isn't it? It's a lot of work for one farmer. Poor old me. But hey, there we go. Sorry everyone, bit of a jump cut here. I pressed my stop record button without thinking. I have the stop record button set to 0 at the bottom right of my keyboard in the numpad. And as I went forward from that previous clip taking out a loan for £60,000, I pressed 0 and the recording stopped, and I didn't realise till several minutes later. So, forgive me. Yeah, we took the loan out. We got the loan of £60,000. There we go. And I made the first purchase of the first bit of equipment that we need, which is this one here. We have there are cheaper versions. We've got these two here, but they are woefully narrow at 3 meters wide, and I'd rather not deal with that. So we've gone for the two 6 meter variants. We have this one here. This is the Ridge Creator at 59.5 grand, and we have this one here at £51,500. As I said before, we don't need to purchase yet any of the harvesting machinery. We just need to concentrate on prepping the field and planting the seeds. So we bought that one. Now we want to buy this one. So there we go. Make purchase. Yep. Buy. Done. There we go. Right. Okay, so the bank balance is now sat at a much more honest, I suppose, at £14,403. Back down to earth with a bang, as it were. That money didn't last long, did it? But everything we need gets invested into the farm, doesn't it? So, we've now got a new piece of land. We've got 2 new pieces of equipment to get the new crops into the ground. I need to get cracking, don't I? We've got the rest of today. It's 20 past 10 in the morning, so we've got the rest of today to deal with the new field and potentially make a start on some of the grass work. But I think, first and foremost, we need to go and pick up the machinery. So, first time this episode, I feel it's been a bit of a waffle so far this morning. Let's get down to the shop, make a couple of trips, go and pick up our new equipment, and I'll see you back at the farm very shortly when we've got everything back here. Right, there we go. Let's... Oh, you can't. There's just one of these that doesn't drop down. Okay, let's reverse back a bit. Unfold it. Now drop it down. Picked it up while it was folded up. Why can't I? There we go. Right, anyway, let's get this out of the way. So, welcome to our new pieces of equipment. This one needs 5 horsepower more than what this thing's got. It needs 270 horsepower. This has got 265. It should be alright though. It does look like a pretty big, beefy, heavy piece of equipment, but I'm pretty sure the Fendt will manage just fine. And here is our 6 meter planter, seeder, vegetable driller, whatever you want to call it. Both very nice looking pieces of equipment, and I am very excited to get this stuff into the ground and get working with it. Now, I do need to, first of all, I need to repair this. This is hovering around the 50-odd% damage mark, so I need to get this repaired, because this is the one that's going to be quite busy. I have just off camera attempted to pick up the stones out of the field that's down there at the minute, and they won't do it because there's the stone picker doesn't work with the field in its current state, frustratingly. So what I'm going to have to do, what I think I'm going to have to do anyway, I hope I'm doing this in the correct order, is essentially get this repaired, hook up our horse cultivator, get that into the field, raise the ground, then run the stone picker, which is a woefully long job, so I'm not gonna put that on camera or anything. It's with it being such a narrow piece of equipment, and with us having to come back and to tip the stones into the lime production stone crushing machine. I will get that done off camera, so I won't bore you to tears with that. But yeah, so I think that's the correct order in which to do things. I hope I'm not going to eat my words in an hour or so's time. But yeah, I'm going to cultivate it, run the stone picker. I have just also ran the field scanner in there just once, obviously, with it being a modded scanner. Paid £150 for that. So we do now have the precision farming data for the field here. So there we go. Predominantly loam with a corner of silty clay and a slightly smaller corner of sandy loam. So that's good. Lime, obviously we're all familiar with, you know, what the field gives us as standard. It's not too bad, but it could be better. And obviously nitrogen, I'm not actually too sure what the nitrogen levels of these new crops require, so we will see that in the near future. And yeah, right, so as I say, I need to get this repaired. I need to stick this in the workshop. I'm hoping it shouldn't cost too much money, a couple of grand maybe tops, but yeah, it needs to be done. Because this one's going to be busy today. So let's squeeze you in here. There we go. Bring you up there. Repair, 1,793 quid. That'll do. Okay, so there you go. Fixed for now. So let's crack on with the plan. Let's pick up our big cultivator. Get started in our new field. Now before I do this as well, I am going to do a little bit of landscaping. I have, obviously having just run the little Massey down here, and I also ran the TW35 down here, in order to see if I could get the stone picker to work. With having crop destruction turned on, I tried to be as careful as I could, but I managed to damage this tiny corner here of the crop. Obviously, don't get me wrong, it's nothing to cry about, but access to this field is almost impossible now without doing a bit of this along the edges. I don't want to remove any of the bushes. I know I could get the chainsaw out and cut these down, but I don't want to be driving through the hedges either. So I feel the right thing to do would be for me to do a little bit of landscaping and essentially just cut as little of this field away as possible, but essentially just run. I'm going to need to create a new lane that runs along down here, down the side of this field here neatly, as close to the hedge as possible, removing as little of the field as possible, joining up with this little bit of existing pathway, giving us access to this field. Obviously, with this being a new field of ours now, I'm going to need access to it all the time for varying jobs going into the future. So I think I'm just going to have to take that hit. It's not going to, don't get me wrong, it's not going to, I'm not going to lose huge amounts from it. I'm just going to take, as I say, as little as possible off the edge of here, just to allow tractors like the size of this fence here just to get down here with reasonable access. Yeah, and go from there. So I'm going to get that done before I try and run the fence with this big cultivator on the back, and then I'm going to jump straight into a cinematic with the cultivator, get that job done, and I shall pick you all back up as soon as possible. Determined to get this on camera working. Some of you might remember a few episodes ago, I did this same job running the stone picker in a field with the auto drive pick up and deliver function, and then coming and self-unloading at the stone picker. And when I wanted to demo it, it didn't work. But I think I've got it working again now. It's not very neat and tidy, because it kind of does this. It bumps into that, it unloads, it spends a few seconds driving forward, which is rather amusing, and then goes, nah, give up. Spins around, bumps into that wall, turns around, and goes. So, yeah, far from perfect, but it works, and that's good enough for me, because that's, yeah, that's a long task. I think it's taken about 45-50 minutes to get that done. But yeah, job done now. That tractor is heading back to the field, so I can stop that in a second. But yeah, right, okay. Just wanted to show you that bit. Right, there we go. Job done. All stones picked and dumped into this wee beastie. Let's have a quick check, actually, and see where we're up to for the levels of this thing. Where is the stone picker? There we are. Line production. Okay, so we've got... Oh, it's already done it. Okay. That's quick, isn't it? Okay. I was hoping to be able to tell you what rocks we got out of that field, because they were all red, so they were all very big. So you might have noticed that looking at them. They were quite big rocks, literally. So, either way, we have got a decent chunk of lime in there. 95,708 litres, so that will see us through for quite a while, hopefully. Right, so... crack on. Let's get this new stuff running, shall we? I'm very excited for this. Some of you might have noticed I started a new series on Zelonka that came out yesterday, and I'm going to be doing a bit of vegetable work in that series as well, but we haven't done anything there yet. So this is going to be my first time playing with this stuff. Honestly, I haven't done anything with him yet. I haven't seen any videos or content of anybody using them yet. There's plenty out there, don't get me wrong, I'm just late to the party, so to speak, so... This does feel very big and heavy on this thing, but it drove home fine from the shop. There was no wheelies or front wheels coming off the ground. It's, yeah, it seems to work. But this is the only tractor that we've got on the farm that is remotely capable of doing this. I think everything else will just bend and snap in half, so... And while I'm coming down here, I thought I'd show you in a little bit more detail. Not that it's particularly interesting, but yeah, this is the little path I made to enable the vehicles to get back into to the new field. I didn't plan on cutting away quite so much, and don't get me wrong, it's not a huge amount. It's not gonna break the bank or anything, but I gave a bit of room, primarily thinking about what you know, thinking of the future. Depending on what crops we do end up putting in here, a bit of crop rotation over the next couple of years. I may well want to send the combine harvester down here as well, in which case I needed just to allow a bit of room. This corner was a bit tight and pokey, to be honest, considered based on my auto drive network. So what this has done is enabled a much nicer, neater setup of the auto drive network. But yeah, we've got a nice little lane coming all the way down, giving access to both these fields. This one's not ours yet. You never know what the future might hold. But yeah, here we are, all picked of stones and cultivated again, because that's what the stone picker does, doesn't it? It leaves a cultivated state. So, yeah, oh, in actual fact, I'm doing this all wrong, aren't I? I need to spread some lime in that field first, don't I? So, let's jump the gun. Let's turn this one off. Let's jump back over here. We'll go and pick up the lime spreader. Get topped up. I think there is a full hopper of lime, or almost a full hopper of lime in the spreader at the minute, so we will we'll top it up at the machine. And actually thinking about it, it'd be interesting to see the fertilizer rate of the crops. And also, it did pass through my mind, obviously when we plant crops in this game, you're always met with the task of needing to roll when you've planted. I'm assuming, assumptions being the mother of all cock-ups, but I'm assuming that you don't roll these root crop vegetables when you've planted them. Oh, only 30%. Right, okay, we do need a top-up. Because of primarily because of the field texture. When you create these beautiful ridges when you before you plant this stuff, and you plant them into the ridges. So I'm assuming you don't run a field roller afterwards, but we shall see. Ooh. Okay. Look at that. World's most powerful tractor. Wheeling. Okay. Right. Let's lower that down. Something tells me I'm going to have to go and get the Fent again, aren't I? Or, no, in actual fact, we could do the TW, couldn't we? Let's disconnect that. We'll get there, ladies and gentlemen. We'll get there one day. Alright, TW. Let's go pick up the front weight that is round in the shed. Honestly, I'd have thought that Renault would have handled that, but clearly not. No, it's a small tractor, but... Right. Weight is in here. I have just put it back in here from being on the back end of this thing. Right, let's see if we can get it from there. We can. There we go. Really? There we go. Right. Let's try again, shall we? Well, it works. It's a little bit light on its front wheels, but at least the front wheels are slightly touching the ground. Yeah, it's manageable for the purposes of getting this job done. It will work. So, this should only take a matter of minutes, so I'll get this done. I'll join you back in a matter of moments. And we're sorted. All sorted. Liming done. pH levels brought back to where they should be in our lovely new field. So let's roll this back up to the yard. Park it up for now. Let's get making some ridges, shall we? Busy bees there. As are we today, to be honest. Right, finally. Let's actually do this now, shall we? Let's get some ridges carved in this field. This does look like an awesome piece of equipment. Personally, I have always found, I think I might have said this once or twice, but 6 meters in respect of the tools and stuff that you're using seems to me to be a pretty perfect size for most of the fields on this map. Most things I have now tend to be 6 meters. The seeder, this thing, both the seeders actually. We've got this, we've got the new vegetable seeder, our gill airsome seeder, that's 6 meters. The cultivator's 6 meters. Yeah, it just works a treat. So, anyway, forgive me. Yeah, I'm going to throw this into another cinematic, ladies and gentlemen, because I feel for a bit of variation in what I've been able to create cinematic-wise. This is obviously new and shiny, as is the task it's performing, so I'm going to try and see what I can do with that. I do feel that... I know this game doesn't do anything in respect to that kind of realism, but I think it would be correct to start with the field centres with this one and finish on the headlands, just because of the ridges in real life. I'm assuming if you ran a big tractor like this with a weight over it and onto some ridges that you've just created, you're going to flatten those ridges, aren't you? So it makes sense to me to run the centres first, then the headlands. So, yeah, pop it into a course play, get a cinematic made, and I shall join you all back when the job's done. Right, there we go. What a lovely job that's done. Doesn't do the OCD any good, I must admit, having these different directional ridges when it turns a different direction, but hey ho, what can I do? Still looks great though. Really does. Lovely stuff. So this, I believe, is now ready to be planted with some form of vegetable, which we will be doing in the next episode. Now, regarding this episode, I think based on how long I think this is going to be, I think I'm going to call it here. There's not much I think I can squeeze into here without rushing things and making a bit of a mess of things, as I tend to have a tendency to do. But yeah, and the grass, both of the grass fields aren't actually at their second growth stage. They need. I think I need to wait till next month. So that's going to make next month quite busy, because we have we're going to have something to plant in here. We're going to have the corn to plant in field 57. We're going to have both of the grass fields to mow and get baled up into the silage and the hay, and obviously shift all the bales to their various points. So yeah, next episode's going to be a cracker. I think there's going to be a lot going on. So, but yeah, I think as for this one, like I say, I think I'm going to call it here. So, thank you very much for watching, everybody. I really appreciate your time watching the video. I hope you found it fun and interesting, hopefully. As always, if you're new to my channel, you like my content, you like the way I do things, please consider hitting that subscribe button and joining the channel. Give the video a like if you can, and leave me a comment if you've got any suggestions for me, any ideas. Love reading them, love hearing from you, love responding to you all. And as always, I'm now a Giants partner. There will be a host of links in the video description below for all the various DLCs and add-ons and game passes and whatnot, even the full game itself. And for this premium expansion pack, which gives us the new vegetables and the new tools, the new map. So if you're interested in that and you fancy helping a content creator out, I would be massively appreciative. So thanks again, everyone, and I shall see you in the next episode.